As I have grown older, I have found the capacity for love has grown deeper. I love many individuals of all ages, sexes, races. I love deeply, but not exclusively. I once lived with a man, the father of my 2 children. I was young. I don't remember loving him. I remember being fascinated by him, repulsed by him, scared of him, but not really loving him. I've had my fair few crushes and have fallen in love once or twice, briefly. These, for all I know, may have been mere moments of obsessive-compulsive episodes. Not that I have OCD, I just happen to liken the messiness and madness of falling in love to a psychosis, or a form of psychosis. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters, love, what is it, actually? In her book, Love 2.0, everything, how this supreme emotion affects all that we think, do, feel, and become, Fredrickson, psychologist, offers a new radical conception of love. Fredrickson is a distinguished professor of psychology and a leading researcher of positive emotion at the University of North Carolina. And she offers scientific evidence to show that love is not actually what we think it is. It's not this ever-constant emotion that supports and sustains a marriage necessarily, and I add the words necessarily. It's not the passion and yearning of young love, of falling in love. It's not even the familial bond of kinship. Love, as she sees it, is a micro moment of connection, characterized by a flood of positive emotion and shared between individuals. You can experience this micro moment with a romantic partner, with a close friend, with a child. But you can also experience this love, actually, in unlikely circumstances. With a stranger that you meet in the street, or passing the car with a colleague at work, even with somebody for your Toastmasters club. These micro moments, these shared connections, are part of what I think Louis Armstrong, and I'm just going to hold it because I am right, Louis Armstrong wrote in What a Wonderful World, and he expressed it so well when he sang, I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? What they're really saying is, I love you. Andre Brink, one of my favourite authors, wrote about a lifetime of loving in one of his books in 2004, Lest I Forget, Before I Forget. Chris Manar, the protagonist, is a distinguished South African author, and at the end of his career, he had many lovers and wrote about them all. 2 particular encounters from that book stand out, and the one is Manar as a youngster, straddled in an apple tree with his young love, bare-kneed, fruit-filled mouths. And the other is this, a cameo, when Manar is on a platform of a train station and he locks eyes with a woman in a carriage as it's pulling out of the train station. And this was a moment of love, a real moment of love. More about the eyes. It's interesting that research shows that when there is this connection between two individuals, when there's an attraction, and it doesn't need to be a sexual attraction, there is a discernible yet momentary synchrony that exists, that emerges as biochemistries, as gestures, as neural firings mimic or mirror the other. So what am I saying? Love is actually a series of micro-connections, whether it be with a soulmate or a stranger. I'm sorry, it's not particularly romantic, it's not necessarily the stuff of, it's not particularly glamorous or mysterious, but I believe that this idea of love, this conception of love, my idea of love, actually lowers the bar of love, makes it more accessible. My research took me to the Heart Math Institute, and there I found some fascinating findings. The heart, far from being a simple pump, as was once believed, is actually a sophisticated system with its own functional brain. And in the new discipline of neurocardiology, what we are seeing is that the heart is a sensory organ and a highly sophisticated centre for receiving and processing information. The electromagnetic field of the heart is 50 times greater than the electromagnetic field of the brain, being the most rhythmic and powerful system in the body, producing an amplitude of great note. And so the heart, what you'll see is the heart pulsing waves radiate out from the heart and not only interact with every system in the body, but the electromagnetic waves of the heart are actually capable of transmitting information up to 5 feet apart between individuals. Research shows that you're able to create a coherence between your heart and your brain, between those two systems, that this is an art. Research shows that the vagus nerve, which is the conduit between the heart and the brain, can be stimulated by heart connections, social connections, love connections. People have largely stopped asking me why I'm still single, and largely stopped trying to pair and partner me off. Love is a nutrient. My friends, my family, my boys, my environment, my work give me a good and ample supplement for now. I've always said that I will probably be mature enough and wise enough to settle down to a permanent relationship, and I've sort of put the cutoff at 60. Until recently, my younger son said to me, I think you need to review this, Mum, and that you should get married by the time you're 50. Otherwise, it may be too late. Until that time, which is very close by, I leave you with the words of the great Erich Fromm, the writer of Art of Living, Art of Loving in 1956, and he said, love is not specifically a relationship with another. It is rather an attitude, an ordination of character that determines the relatedness of one person to the world as a whole, not necessarily to a specific object of love. Thank you.